The cavern beneath the palace was quiet, but Rin could feel the tension in the air. Every sound dripping water, distant echoes seemed louder than usual. Nira moved gracefully beside him, her eyes scanning the walls and ceilings as if expecting something to appear at any moment. They won't stop easily, Nira said softly. The rogue faction is skilled. They know secret paths and hidden entrances to the palace. They will try to find us, Rin nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. What do they want? Why are they so determined? Nira's expression darkened. Power, control. They see me as weak because I believe in cooperation, not domination. They fear the prophecy that brought you here. They believe if you succeed, their plans will fail. Rin shivered. He had never imagined that his rival would stir so much fear, but at the same time, he felt a strange determination rising inside him. Somehow, he knew he could help Nira and her people. Suddenly, a distant rumble echoed through the cavern. Rin instinctively ducked as small rocks fell from the ceiling. They're coming, Nira said sharply. We must move. She led him through a narrow tunnel that twisted like a frozen serpent. The walls were smooth and cold, and the air smelled faintly of minerals. Rin noticed ancient carvings along the walls, symbols of energy and life that pulsed faintly under his touch. It was as if the planet itself was alive, guiding them through the tunnel's dot. As they turned the corner, Rin saw shadows moving ahead, figures cloaked in dark robes slipped silently along the walls, moving with a precision that made his heart race. Nira's eyes narrowed. They're scouts. We must avoid them. Rin tried to follow her lead, but the shadows were fast. One figure turned suddenly. Noticing them, Rin's instincts kicked in. He grabbed a shard of ice from the wall and hurled it at the scout. It struck with a sharp crack, startling the figure, who stumbled and called for reinforcements. They know we're here now, Nira said. We have to act quickly. They ran deeper into the tunnels, using hidden passages that only Nira knew. Rin noticed that every time they moved, the air seemed to hum with energy, reacting to his presence. He could feel warmth spreading through his chest, a strange sensation that made him feel stronger, more alert. Finally, they reached a large underground chamber. The walls were lined with glowing crystals, and in the center, a pool of clear water reflected their images. Rin took a moment to catch his breath. What is this place? He asked. Nira's eyes softened. This is an ancient chamber of power. It amplifies energy from within and around it. My ancestors used it to protect the palace and guide those who were chosen. You should feel it, Rin. Place your hand on the water. Rin hesitated for a moment, then knelt beside the pool and touched the water's surface. A wave of warmth and energy flowed through him. He gasped as images flashed before his eyes, visions of the Nirelians, humans, and even himself, standing together to protect the planet. He felt a connection to Nira and her people, something deep and ancient that he could not explain. You see now, Nira said softly, why you are here. Your presence awakens what has been dormant. You are part of something much larger than yourself. Before Rin could respond, the chamber's entrance shook violently. Dark figures poured into the room, their eyes glowing faintly with malicious intent. The rogue faction had found them. Nira stepped in front of Rin, her body glowing with energy. Stay behind me, she commanded. I will protect you. Rin watched as she raised her hands, manipulating the energy of the chamber. Crystals along the walls responded, forming barriers and shields. The rogue faction attacked, but their weapons bounced off invisible shields, unable to penetrate the force surrounding Nira. Rin's heart pounded. He wanted to help, but he didn't know how. Then, he remembered the warmth he felt from the pool. Instinctively, he placed his hands on the crystals nearby. A wave of energy pulsed through him, and to his surprise, the crystals responded. Light surged outward, forming a protective dome around both him and Nira. Nira's eyes widened. Rin, you're doing it. You can channel the energy. Rin felt a rush of power. The fear and uncertainty that had gripped him earlier melted away. He could feel the energy flowing through him, connecting him to the palace, to Nira, and to the planet itself. With a deep breath, he focused, sending the energy toward the intruders. They were thrown back by the force, tumbling against the walls. Rogue faction scrambled, clearly not expecting a human to wield such power. Nira glanced at Rin, her expression a mixture of pride and relief. You've awakened faster than I imagined. Together, we can protect this place, Rin nodded. Feeling a surge of confidence, he had never imagined himself capable of such things. Yet here he was, standing beside Nira, using energy to defend her people. The connection he felt with the planet and the palace was real, and it gave him strength beyond anything he had known. The rogue faction regrouped, preparing for another attack. Nira took Rin's hand. We must move. I know a passage that will lead us to safety. Follow me exactly and trust your instincts. They ran through a hidden corridor, the walls glowing faintly as they moved. Rin noticed that the energy within him responded to the turns and twists, guiding him like a compass. It was as if the planet itself wanted him to succeed. Finally, they reached a secluded chamber. Hidden behind layers of ice and stone, Rin collapsed onto the floor, exhausted but exhilarated. I can't believe that worked, he said, still feeling the energy humming through him. Ira knelt beside him. You are stronger than you realize. Humans carry courage, intuition, and creativity that even my people sometimes lack. That is why the visions chose you. That is why you awakened the energy so quickly. Rin smiled faintly, feeling a warmth in his chest. I want to help. I don't want anyone to get hurt. Nira's eyes softened. And that is why you will succeed. Courage and heart are more powerful than any weapon. Remember this, Rin. The rogue faction will not give up, but together, we can protect my people and restore balance. As they rested in the hidden chamber, Rin realized that his journey on Vorelia was far from over. The rogue faction was still out there, waiting and watching, but he had discovered something important about himself. He was not just an explorer, he was part of a legacy, part of a prophecy, and part of something much larger than he had ever imagined. Nira looked at him with determination. Rest for now, Rin. Tomorrow, we begin our plan. We will show my people that humans and Nyrelians can stand together, and that hope is stronger than fear. Rin nodded, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known before. For the first time, he truly understood that he was exactly where he was meant to be, and that his presence on Vorelia could change the future. As the twin moons shone through cracks in the ice above, Rin and Nira prepared for the challenges ahead. The hidden threat was only the beginning, and the adventure of a lifetime had just begun. The morning light shimmered through cracks in the ice above the hidden chamber. Rin stretched, feeling the warmth of energy still pulsing faintly through him from the previous night. Beside him, Nira moved gracefully, her eyes glowing softly. As she observed him, "Are you ready?" she asked. "Today, we will explore a place that may help you understand your connection to my people." Rin nodded, determination in his eyes. "I want to understand. I need to know why I feel connected here, and why I was able to use the energy." Nira led him through a series of twisting tunnels, each one lined with glowing crystals that responded faintly to Rin's presence. The air was alive with energy, humming gently as if recognizing him. As they walked, Nira spoke softly. "My people have always had a bond with humans. Long ago, our ancestors worked together across the stars. We shared knowledge, energy, and discoveries. But over time, that connection faded. Humans moved to other planets, and we were left here, guarding the secrets of Vorelia. The visions foretold a human who would restore the bond." Rin listened carefully, awe and wonder filling his chest. "So, the energy I can use, it's part of that bond?" Nira nodded. "Yes. Humans and Nyrelians share a rare ability to sense and manipulate certain forms of energy. It is not something that can be taught easily. It is in our nature, waiting to awaken when the time is right. You are that human." As they walked, Rin noticed markings along the walls, ancient carvings depicting humans and Nyrelians standing together, manipulating energy to shape their environment. He stopped and traced the symbols with his hand. "I feel something," he said. "Like it's trying to tell me something." Nira watched him closely. "That is your connection. Awakening. You are sensing the memories of our ancestors, the actions they took, and the choices they made. You are part of the same legacy, Finally, they reached a massive chamber carved entirely from ice and crystal. In the center was a pool of water so clear it reflected the ceiling like a mirror. Around the pool, symbols glowed faintly, forming a circle of energy, near a motion for Rin to approach. This is the Chamber of Memories. She explained, here, you may see more clearly why you are here and how humans and Nyrelians are connected. Rin knelt beside the pool and placed his hands on the icy edge. Immediately, visions flashed before his eyes. He saw humans and Nyrelians working together long ago, creating cities of crystal and energy. He saw shared discoveries, battles fought, not with weapons, but with intelligence, strategy, and courage. Then the vision shifted. He saw a human who looked exactly like him, standing beside an Aurelian princess protecting a planet from a great threat. The human reached out, channeling energy that flowed into the princess's hands, amplifying her abilities. Rin gasped, "That's me," he whispered. Nira nodded. "Yes, you carry the legacy of your ancestors. That is why you were able to awaken the energy in the cavern. It is in your blood, Rin. Humans have always had courage, creativity, and the ability to inspire hope. That is why the prophecy chose you." Rin felt a strange warmth in his chest. For the first time, he understood that his arrival on Vorelia was not a coincidence. He was meant to be here, to help restore the bond between humans and Nyrelians. Nira continued, "There is more you must understand. Our ancestors faced a choice long ago. They could use the energy for domination or for protection. They chose protection, but some among my people want to use it for control. That is why the rogue faction exists. They fear the bond you bring will undo their plans." Rin clenched his fists. "Then we have to stop them. I won't let them use this energy to hurt anyone." Nira smiled faintly. "Good. But remember, Rin, it is not only power that matters. It is courage, heart, and unity. That is what makes humans and Nyrelians strong together." Rin looked around the chamber, absorbing the energy that pulsed from the crystals and the pool. He felt it responding to him, guiding him, strengthening him. Slowly, he placed both hands on the water, focusing his thoughts. Energy began to flow from the pool into him, warming his body and mind. He could feel visions and memories, not just his own, but those of the humans and Nyrelians from long ago. "This is incredible," Rin whispered. "I can feel everything. Their courage, their struggles, their hope." Nira watched him, eyes glimmering with pride. "Yes, that is your connection. You are part of the legacy, Rin. And soon, you will be able to use this energy not only to protect, but to guide, teach, and inspire. That is why your presence is so important." As Rin focused, a new image appeared in the pool. He saw the rogue faction preparing to attack the palace, using hidden paths and secret entrances. But in the vision, he also saw himself and Nira, standing together, protecting the people and rallying them to stand united. The energy from the pool responded, flowing into him, showing him the way to defend the palace. Rin's eyes widened. "We can stop them. We can protect everyone." Nira nodded. "Yes, but first, we must awaken your abilities further. You must learn to channel the energy without fear, and to use it to guide others. That is the key to uniting humans and Nyrelians." Again, over the next hours, Rin practiced under Nira's guidance. He reached out with his mind, feeling the energy flow from the crystals, the water, and even the walls of the chamber. At first, it was overwhelming, but gradually, he learned to control it. Light responded to his movements, forming shapes and barriers. He could feel the energy extending beyond the chamber, connecting with the planet itself. Nira watched closely. "You are doing well, Rin. You are learning faster than I imagined. Soon, you will be ready to face the rogue faction, and perhaps even awaken others like you." Rin smiled faintly, feeling a new sense of confidence. "I never imagined humans could do this, but I feel like this is what I was meant to do." Nira's expression softened. "Yes, Rin, you were chosen for this reason. And now, you understand why I froze when I first saw you. I recognized the legacy in you, the bond, the hope, and now, together, we can protect Vorelia and awaken what has been forgotten. As the sun set outside the palace, casting soft light across the ice, Ren realized that his journey had only just begun. He had discovered the connection, felt the power, and understood the responsibility he carried. But more challenges awaited. The rogue faction was still out there, and the energy he could channel was only the beginning. Ren stood beside Nira, looking out at the icy horizon. "I'm ready," he said firmly. "Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." Nira placed a hand on his shoulder. "Yes, Ren, together. We will show my people the strength of unity and the courage that humans and Nyrilians can share. The future is in our hands, and for the first time, Ren felt truly connected not only to Nira and her people, but to a history and a legacy that spanned generations, waiting for him to awaken it fully. The palace glowed softly under the twin moons as Ren and Nira prepared for the final confrontation. The rogue faction had grown bolder, threatening the peace of Vorellia and challenging the bond between humans and Nyrilians. Ren could feel the energy pulsing within him, stronger than ever. Today, he would face the challenge he had trained for, and the truth behind the moment the princess had frozen would finally be revealed. "We must be careful," Nira said, her eyes serious. "The rogue faction is cunning. They have spies throughout the palace, and they will try to exploit any weakness. But together, we can stop them." "You are ready, Ren." Ren nodded, determination steady in his chest. "I won't let them harm anyone. I'll protect the palace, and you?" Nira smiled faintly. "Good. But remember, Ren, strength alone is not enough. Courage, heart, and unity are what will guide you. You are more than a warrior, you are a protector and a symbol of hope." The halls were quiet. As they moved toward the central chamber, Ren's senses were heightened. He could feel the energy of the palace, responding to his presence, guiding him, warning him of danger. As they approached, shadows flickered along the wall. Scouts of the rogue faction. Ren took a deep breath and extended his hands. Energy surged outward, forming barriers that blocked the intruders. The shadows recoiled. Startled by the power of a human commanding Vorellia's energy, Nira joined him, their combined energy forming a dome that shimmered like crystal light. "You are doing well," Nira whispered. "But the leader approaches. He is the one who fears the prophecy the most." Ren's heart pounded. A figure emerged from the shadows, a tall, imposing Nirelian with dark energy crackling around him. His eyes were cold and calculating, filled with anger and fear. "So, this is the human," he said in a low, harsh voice. "I see why my sister, the princess, feared this day." Ren's eyes widened. "Feared me? Why?" Nira took a step forward, her voice steady. "Because she recognized the legacy in you. The moment I saw you, I knew the bond of humans and Nyrilians would awaken again. That is why I froze. I understood the power, the hope, and the danger you carried with you." The rogue leader snarled. "Then I will destroy that hope. I will ensure the prophecy fails." He raised his hands, and dark energy surged toward them. Ren's instincts took over. He extended his hands, calling upon the energy he had mastered. Light and warmth flowed from him, forming shields that absorbed the attack. He could feel the planet itself guiding him, amplifying his strength, supporting his courage. Together, Ren, Nira shouted. They combined their energy, forming a wave of light that met the rogue leader's dark force head-on. The impact shook the chamber, crystal shards falling like rain. Ren could feel the energy vibrating through him, a connection not just to Nira, but to the legacy of humans and Nyrilians who had come before him. The rogue leader advanced, his attacks relentless, but Ren and Nira moved with precision, their powers flowing in harmony. Ren directed the energy, blocking, deflecting, and guiding it, while Nira amplified and strengthened it. The rogue faction's forces faltered as their leader struggled against the combined power of hope and courage. Ren realized something vital. The energy responded to his emotions. Fear weakened it, but determination, courage, and hope made it stronger. He focused on the people of Vorellia, the legacy of humans and Nyrilians, and the bond that had been dormant for so long. The energy surged, forming a radiant dome that expanded outward, Pushing back the rogue leader and his followers, the leader roared, unleashing a massive wave of dark energy. Ren met it with all his strength, channeling the energy of the palace, the planet, and the legacy within him. Light and dark clashed, shaking the chamber, until Ren found the center of the wave. With a deep breath, he focused every ounce of his will, sending a pulse of pure energy that overwhelmed the darkness. The rogue leader fell to his knees, exhausted and defeated. His followers retreated, unable to withstand the power that flowed from Ren and Nira. The chamber fell silent, glowing with the soft, calming energy of victory. Nira looked at Ren, her eyes filled with pride. "You did it, Ren. You have protected the palace, the people, and the legacy. You have proven yourself as a true guardian of Aurelia." Ren took a deep breath, feeling the energy still flowing within him. I couldn't have done it without you. You guided me and helped me understand my connection. I finally understand why you froze when you first saw me." Nira smiled softly. "Yes, I recognize the hope, courage, and strength in you, and now everyone can see it too. The bond of humans and Nyrelians is alive again, thanks to you." Ren felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had arrived on Aurelia by chance or perhaps by destiny, but now he knew his purpose. He was not just an explorer. He was a protector, a guardian, and a symbol of hope. The energy of the planet, the legacy of the past, and the courage of the present had all come together in him. As they walked through the central hall, the people of Aurelia emerged. Witnessing the victory, they looked at Ren with awe and gratitude, realizing that humans and Nyrelians could indeed stand together, united by courage and hope. One elder stepped forward, his eyes shining. "You have awakened what we thought was lost," he said. "You have reminded us of the strength of unity and the power of hope. Thank you, Ren." Ren nodded humbly. "I am honored. But it was not just me. Nira guided me, and the energy of Aurelia supported us. Together, we have protected this place." Nira turned to Ren, her expression gentle. "And together, we will continue to protect it. The rogue faction may return, but now the people know that humans and Nyrelians can stand together. That is the true power of our bond." Ren smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. The journey had been long, challenging, and sometimes frightening, but he had grown, learned, and discovered a connection stronger than he had ever imagined. As the twin moons shone brightly over the palace, Ren understood the full meaning of the moment when Nira had first frozen. It was not fear, but recognition of hope, courage, and the bond that had been waiting to awaken. And now, that bond was alive, stronger than ever. Ren looked at Nira, feeling a deep sense of purpose. "I'm ready for whatever comes next," he said. Nira nodded. "And I will be by your side. Together, we will guide my people, protect this world, and ensure that hope never fades again." The palace shimmered with energy. The people of Aurelia gathered in celebration, and the rogue faction had been defeated for now. Ren had fulfilled his role as the protector, and the legacy of humans and Nyrelians was restored. But Ren knew that this was only the beginning of a greater journey, a journey of courage, unity, and hope that would continue to shape the future of Aurelia and beyond. And as he stood beside Nira, the alien princess who had once frozen in awe at his presence, Ren realized that he had become more than an explorer. He had become a hero, a guardian, and a living testament to the strength of humanity and the enduring power of hope. The palace glowed softly under the twin moons as Ren and Nira prepared for the final confrontation. The rogue faction had grown bolder, threatening the peace of Aurelia and challenging the bond between humans and Nyrelians. Ren could feel the energy pulsing within him, stronger than ever. Today, he would face the challenge he had trained for, and the truth behind the moment the princess had frozen would finally be revealed. "We must be careful," Nira said, her eyes serious. "The rogue faction is cunning. They have spies throughout the palace, and they will try to exploit any weakness. But together, we can stop them." "You are ready, Ren." Ren nodded, determination steady in his chest. "I won't let them harm anyone. I'll protect the palace, and you?" Nira smiled faintly. "Good." But remember, Rin, strength alone is not enough. Courage, heart, and unity are what will guide you. You are more than a warrior, you are a protector and a symbol of hope. The halls were quiet. As they moved toward the central chamber, Rin's senses were heightened. He could feel the energy of the palace, responding to his presence, guiding him, warning him of danger. As they approached, shadows flickered along the wall. Scouts of the rogue faction. Rin took a deep breath and extended his hands. Energy surged outward, forming barriers that blocked the intruders. The shadows recoiled. Startled by the power of a human commanding Varelia's energy, Nira joined him, their combined energy forming a dome that shimmered like crystal light. You are doing well, Nira whispered. But the leader approaches. He is the one who fears the prophecy the most. Rin's heart pounded. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall, imposing Nerelian with dark energy crackling around him. His eyes were cold and calculating, filled with anger and fear. So, this is the human, he said in a low, harsh voice. I see why my sister, the princess, feared this day. Rin's eyes widened. Feared me? Why? Nira took a step forward, her voice steady. Because she recognized the legacy in you. The moment I saw you, I knew the bond of humans and Nyrelians would awaken again. That is why I froze. I understood the power, the hope, and the danger you carried with you. The rogue leader snarled. Then I will destroy that hope. I will ensure the prophecy fails. He raised his hands, and dark energy surged toward them. Rin's instincts took over. He extended his hands, calling upon the energy he had mastered. Light and warmth flowed from him, forming shields that absorbed the attack. He could feel the planet itself guiding him, amplifying his strength, supporting his courage. Together, Rin, Nira shouted. They combined their energy, forming a wave of light that met the rogue leader's dark force head-on. The impact shook the chamber, crystal shards falling like rain. Rin could feel the energy vibrating through him, a connection not just to Nira, but to the legacy of humans and Nyrelians who had come before him. The rogue leader advanced, his attacks relentless, but Rin and Nira moved with precision, their powers flowing in harmony. Rin directed the energy, blocking, deflecting, and guiding it, while Nira amplified and strengthened it. The rogue faction's forces faltered as their leader struggled against the combined power of hope and courage. Rin realized something vital. The energy responded to his emotions. Fear weakened it, but determination, courage, and hope made it stronger. He focused on the people of Varelia, the legacy of humans and Nyrelians, and the bond that had been dormant for so long. The energy surged, forming a radiant dome that expanded outward, pushing back the rogue leader and his followers. The leader roared, unleashing a massive wave of dark energy. Rin met it with all his strength, channeling the energy of the palace, the planet, and the legacy within him. Light and dark clashed, shaking the chamber, until Rin found the center of the wave. With a deep breath, he focused every ounce of his will, sending a pulse of pure energy that overwhelmed the darkness. The rogue leader fell to his knees, exhausted and defeated. His followers retreated, unable to withstand the power that flowed from Rin and Nira. The chamber fell silent, glowing with the soft, calming energy of victory. Nira looked at Rin, her eyes filled with pride. You did it, Rin. You have protected the palace, the people, and the legacy. You have proven yourself as a true guardian of Varelia. Rin took a deep breath, feeling the energy still flowing within him. I couldn't have done it without you. You guided me and helped me understand my connection. I finally understand why you froze when you first saw me. Nira smiled softly. Yes, I recognize the hope, courage, and strength in you. And now, everyone can see it too. The bond of humans and Nyrelians is alive again, thanks to you. Rin felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had arrived on Varelia by chance or perhaps by destiny, but now he knew his purpose. He was not just an explorer. He was a protector, a guardian, and a symbol of hope. The energy of the planet, the legacy of the past, and the courage of the present had all come together in him. As they walked through the central hall, the people of Varelia emerged. Witnessing the victory, they looked at Rin with awe and gratitude. realizing that humans and Nyrelians could indeed stand together, united by courage and hope. One elder stepped forward, his eyes shining. "You have awakened what we thought was lost," he said. "You have reminded us of the strength of unity and the power of hope. Thank you, Rin." Rin nodded humbly. "I am honored, but it was not just me. Nira guided me, and the energy of Vorelia supported us. Together, we have protected this place." Nira turned to Rin, her expression gentle. "And together, we will continue to protect it. The rogue faction may return, but now, the people know that humans and Nyrelians can stand together. That is the true power of our bond." Rin smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. The journey had been long, challenging, and sometimes frightening, but he had grown, learned, and discovered a connection stronger than he had ever imagined. As the twin moons shone brightly over the palace, Rin understood the full meaning of the moment when Nira had first frozen. It was not fear, but recognition of hope, courage, and the bond that had been waiting to awaken. And now, that bond was alive, stronger than ever. Rin looked at Nira, feeling a deep sense of purpose. "I'm ready for whatever comes next," he said. Nira nodded. "And I will be by your side. Together, we will guide my people, protect this world, and ensure that hope never fades again." The palace shimmered with energy. The people of Vorelia gathered in celebration, and the rogue faction had been defeated for now. Rin had fulfilled his role as the protector, and the legacy of humans and Nyrelians was restored. But Rin knew that this was only the beginning of a greater journey, a journey of courage, unity, and hope that would continue to shape the future of Vorelia and beyond. And as he stood beside Nira, the alien princess who had once frozen in awe at his presence, Rin realized that he had become more than an explorer. He had become a hero, a guardian, and a living testament to the strength of humanity and the enduring power of hope. Princess Nira stood on the balcony of her palace, her gaze fixed on the glowing expanse of stars stretching across the sky. The planet Zalira was quiet tonight, peaceful as always, but Nira's heart was restless. She could feel the weight of the crown pressing down on her, heavier than any jewel or gold. The law of the Galactic Council was clear, and it left her no choice. If she did not marry before the next planetary alignment, her crown and the future of her people would be taken from her. She had tried everything, courting noble aliens, sending polite requests to distant planets, even offering lavish rewards. Nothing worked. No one wanted to marry a princess out of duty alone. And now, the alignment was only weeks away. Nira's mind raced with fear. If she failed, Zalira would fall into the hands of her distant cousin, a greedy ruler who would exploit the planet's resources for personal gain. "I cannot lose everything," she whispered to herself. Her voice trembled, but her resolve was strong. "I must find someone, anyone who will help me save my people." With a trembling hand, Nira activated the communicator, broadcasting a message across the galaxy. Her voice was calm but desperate, too. "All capable beings of the galaxy, I'm Princess Nira of Zalira. I seek a partner, a spouse, to save my crown and protect my people. If you are willing, please respond. Time is short, and the fate of my planet depends on your courage." She sent the message, her heart pounding. For hours, she waited, staring at the stars. Then, slowly, replies began to arrive. Most were dismissive or absurd. Messages from merchants offering exotic goods or from adventurers looking for fame. Nira sighed. Nothing serious, nothing real. Then, a single message caught her eye. The sender was a human named Liam, a known explorer who had charted unclaimed planets and faced dangers no one else dared. His message was simple, polite, and confident. "Princess Nira, I have received your message. I am willing to help. I will come to Zalira." Nira's eyes widened. A human, from what she had heard. Humans were unpredictable, curious, and brave sometimes, to the point of recklessness, but she felt a spark of hope. Perhaps this was the answer she had been searching for. The preparations were swift. Nira arranged for Liam's arrival, ensuring that the palace was ready for a visitor from another world. She instructed her aides to prepare accommodations and supplies. Her advisors questioned the choice. "A human, Your Highness," one said. "They are strong and bold, yes, but also impulsive. Are you sure this is wise?" Nira held their gaze firmly. "I have no choice," she replied. "The law is clear. I must marry before the alignment. If Liam is willing, we will meet. That is all I need to know." The day of arrival came. Nira stood at the edge of the palace landing platform, the twin suns of Zalira warming her face. A sleek human spacecraft descended through the sky, leaving a trail of bright blue light when the craft landed. The hatch opened, and Liam stepped out. He was tall, with a strong frame, dark hair, and eyes that seemed to hold both curiosity and courage. He moved with careful confidence, aware that he was far from home, yet unafraid. "Princess Nira?" he said, bowing slightly. His voice was calm, steady, but warm. "Yes," Nira replied, her own voice firm despite the flutter of nerves in her chest. "Welcome to Zalira. I am grateful that you have come." They shook hands. The moment was formal, but both felt a strange electricity, a mix of duty, curiosity, and something unspoken. Liam looked around, taking in the palace with interest. "It is magnificent," he said. "I have seen many worlds, but it is unlike anything I imagined." Nira smiled faintly. "It is my home, and it is in danger." Liam's expression grew serious. "Then we must act quickly. Tell me what I need to do." The princess led him inside the palace, through grand halls lined with golden tapestries and sparkling crystals. She explained the situation, the law, and the consequences. Liam listened intently, nodding as he absorbed every detail. "I understand," he said finally. "This is not just about marriage. It is about your people, your crown, and the future of Zalira. I will help." For the first time in days, Nira felt a sense of relief. Liam was brave, capable, and willing to face the challenges ahead. Perhaps, just perhaps, there was a chance. That evening, Nira invited Liam to dinner in the palace's grand dining hall. The table was laden with foods from across Zalira, fruits that shimmered like jewels, grains that sparkled with natural sugars, and roasted meats that smelled rich and savory. Liam tasted each dish carefully, showing appreciation with simple words and gestures. "You are very skilled in diplomacy," Nira observed as he asked questions about her people and their customs. Liam smiled. "I have learned that understanding others is often more important than strength or weapons. To help, one must know what is at stake." Nira felt a warmth toward him that went beyond gratitude. Humans were rare in this part of the galaxy, and their ways were strange, yet their honesty and adaptability were remarkable. She realized that she could rely on him not just for survival, but for companionship in a way she had never experienced. As the night deepened, they walked along the palace gardens. The moonlight reflected off crystalline flowers, casting silver patterns across the pathways. Nira spoke softly, almost to herself. "I never thought I would need to ask a human for help," she said. "And yet, here you are." Liam looked at her, his expression gentle. "Sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places, and sometimes the unexpected is exactly what we need." For a moment, neither spoke. The wind rustled through the alien trees, and the stars shimmered above. Nira felt a strange sense of hope. Perhaps the galaxy had sent her not just a solution to a law, but a companion who could stand beside her. But even as they spoke, the shadow of time loomed. The planetary alignment would not wait. Nira's crown, her people, and her future depended on swift action, and the first step had already begun. She had reached across the stars, and a human had answered. And so, in the quiet of the palace gardens, a pact was made not only of law and duty, but of trust, curiosity, and the first fragile threads of friendship. The adventure that would decide the fate of Zalira, and perhaps something far more personal, had begun. The next morning, the palace of Zalira was alive with movement. Servants bustled through the halls, preparing rooms and supplies for Liam's stay. Courtiers whispered in corners, curious and skeptical about the human who had answered Princess Nira's desperate call. Nira, however, remained focused, determined to make the most of the short time they had before the planetary alignment. Liam had spent the night in a guest chamber, filled with views of the swirling Zalarian skies. The room was luxurious, yet he preferred practicality over comfort. He studied maps of the galaxy, trying to understand the political and cultural landscape of Zalira. The law that forced a royal marriage in such a short time seemed strange to him, but he respected Nira's courage and the weight of her responsibilities. When he entered the grand hall for breakfast, Nira was already there, reviewing official documents with her advisors. She looked up as Liam approached, and for a moment, the formalities softened. "Good morning, Princess," he said, bowing lightly. "I hope I am not late." Nira shook her head. "No, you are punctual. I'm glad you rested well. Today, I wish to show you the palace, its defenses, and some of our archives. There is much for you to understand if we are to succeed." Liam nodded. "Lead the way." As they walked through the palace corridors, Nira began to explain the history of Zalira, the culture of her people, and the political challenges she faced. Liam listened intently, asking questions that showed genuine curiosity. He was fascinated, not only by the architecture and technology, but also by the ways the Zalarians had adapted to life in space. "This is unlike anything I have ever seen," Liam said as they entered a room filled with glowing holographic displays. "Your people are clever and resilient. It is no wonder you value loyalty and strength so highly." Nira smiled faintly. "We have had to be, but these qualities can also be dangerous. A leader must balance strength with wisdom, or a system can collapse." Their walk took them to the palace gardens, where crystalline flowers glowed softly in the morning light. Birds of unfamiliar colors and shapes sang in the trees. Liam reached out to touch one of the flowers, and it shimmered under his hand. "Your planet is beautiful," he said quietly. "It feels alive." Nira looked at him, her eyes thoughtful. "It is, but beauty can be fragile. That is why I must act quickly. If I do not marry before the planetary alignment, the law will strip me of my crown. Everything I protect could be lost." Liam's gaze grew serious. "I understand. Then we have no time to waste. I will help you prepare, and we will face whatever challenges come together." Nira felt a strange warmth at his words. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but their courage and honesty could not be denied. She began to see him not as a stranger, but as an ally she could trust. Their first test came sooner than expected. A council messenger arrived, announcing that the Galactic Council required proof of compatibility and commitment between Nira and any potential spouse before marriage could be recognized. The test would involve intelligence, strategy, and endurance. Nira frowned. "The Council always finds a way to make things more difficult," Liam shrugged. "Then we meet their challenges head-on. I'm not afraid of tests, and I will not leave your side." The first trial was a navigation exercise. They were taken to a training chamber that simulated zero-gravity conditions, filled with floating obstacles and unpredictable currents. The challenge was to reach a specific point in the chamber within a limited time, while avoiding hazards. Liam moved quickly, adjusting to the unfamiliar physics with surprising skill. Nira, though less experienced in zero-gravity movement, relied on careful calculation and observation. At first, they struggled to coordinate, bumping into walls and floating off course. But gradually, they began to move as a team, predicting each other's actions and compensating for mistakes. "Good, Liam," Nira said, laughing as she twisted midair to avoid a spinning barrier. "You adapt faster than I expected." Liam grinned. "I have faced worse in uncharted space, but your thinking is sharp. I learned from you." By the end of the trial, they reached the goal together, earning praise from the council observers. More importantly, they began to understand each other's strengths, Liam's adaptability and courage, Nira's intelligence and careful planning. After the trial, they returned to the palace, exhausted but satisfied. They sat in the gardens, watching the twin suns rise higher in the sky. "You know," Liam said thoughtfully, "humans often rely on instinct, But it seems your people have mastered foresight. It is impressive. Nira nodded. And humans often follow heart, even when logic says otherwise. That too is valuable. A moment of silence followed. For the first time, they were not princess and guest. Not royalty and human, they were to beings trying to understand one another. Across the vastness of the galaxy, their next challenge was a test of intelligence. The council provided a series of ancient alien riddles and puzzles designed to assess strategy, reasoning, and problem-solving. Nira and Liam worked together, combining her knowledge of law and history with his practical experience and quick thinking. It is not just about knowing the answers, Nira said, pointing at a complex holographic pattern. It is about seeing connections others miss. Liam studied the pattern carefully, then smiled. I see it. Follow me. Together, they solved the puzzle, earning high marks from the council. Each success strengthened their trust in one another and deepened their growing respect. By evening, Nira realized how much she had begun to rely on Liam not just as an ally, but as someone who could understand the weight of her crown and the pressure of her responsibilities. Liam, too, felt a connection. Humans were not known for patience, but he found himself willing to learn, to adapt, and to protect someone whose life and people depended on him. As they sat in the quiet of the palace garden, watching the stars emerge, Nira spoke softly. I never expected to find someone like you, not just capable, but understanding. Liam looked at her, his eyes steady. I never expected to come to a distant planet and feel that my choices mattered so much. But they do, and I will not fail you, princess. For the first time in weeks, Nira allowed herself to hope. The path ahead was still dangerous, filled with council tests, political intrigue, and the looming deadline of the planetary alignment. But with Liam by her side, she felt stronger. Together, perhaps they could not only save her crown, but discover something far more important, a bond that neither law nor distance could define. And so, the human and the princess began their journey not just across the challenges set by the Galactic Council, but across the boundaries of trust, understanding, and the first quiet stirrings of friendship that might, in time, become something deeper. Word count, approximately 1010. The next morning, the palace of Zalira was unusually quiet. Even the usual hum of energy from the floating platforms seemed subdued, as if the planet itself held its breath. Princess Nira stood at the observation deck, looking out at the swirling colors of her city below. She felt the weight of the coming trials pressing on her more than ever. The Galactic Council was strict, and each test was designed to challenge not just skill, but character, loyalty, and intelligence. Liam joined her, silently, carrying a datapad filled with information about the upcoming trials. His presence was reassuring. She had come to rely on him, not only as a capable partner, but also as a grounding presence amid the pressure. Are you ready? Liam asked, his dark eyes meeting hers. Nira took a deep breath. I must be. There is no other choice. Our success is not just for me, but for everyone on Zalira. The first trial of the day was set in the Grand Council Arena, a vast chamber that stretched hundreds of meters, filled with holographic simulations and shifting platforms. The council had designed this test to examine adaptability and teamwork. Liam and Nira were transported into the simulation, which depicted a dangerous alien terrain filled with energy barriers, moving obstacles, and unpredictable hazards. At first, they struggled. Liam's instinct was to move quickly, to tackle obstacles head-on, while Nira's strategy was cautious, carefully analyzing each pattern before acting. Their approaches clashed, causing them to stumble and almost fail the test. Wait, Nira shouted, floating midair as a holographic barrier swirled in front of them. We must work together. Your speed and my planning combine them. Liam nodded. Adjusting his movements, they began to coordinate. Nira predicted the shifting platforms, guiding Liam through the fastest routes, while Liam used his reflexes and agility to handle unexpected dangers. Slowly, their movements became synchronized, almost like a dance. As they reached the center of the arena, the holographic simulation dissolved. Council observers nodded in approval. The trial had tested More than skill, it had tested their ability to trust each other under pressure. Nira allowed herself a small smile. "You learn quickly," she said. Liam shrugged. "Humans are adaptable, but I have a good teacher." The next trial was a test of knowledge and diplomacy. Nira and Liam were transported to a chamber that replicated a neighboring star system in conflict. Their task was to negotiate a peace agreement between two alien civilizations, each with different cultures, languages, and customs. Nira spoke first, using her knowledge of law and her understanding of political strategy. Liam observed, noting patterns in behavior and subtle gestures. When the discussion reached a stalemate, Liam stepped forward, proposing a solution that no one expected. "You see," he explained to Nira afterward, "sometimes the right answer is not in the rules, but in understanding people. They follow logic, yes, but also hope. They want to feel heard." Nira nodded thoughtfully. "You are correct. Humans have a perspective we sometimes overlook." Their proposal succeeded, and the council awarded high marks for creativity and insight. Nira was impressed not only by Liam's intelligence, but also by his courage to speak in situations where most would remain silent. However, the trials grew more dangerous as the day went on. The final test was a simulation of survival in a hostile environment. They were placed on a planet with unstable terrain, violent storms, and aggressive wildlife. Their task: reached the safety zone while gathering essential resources. The storm began almost immediately, wind and rain battering their suits. Holographic lightning flashed around them, forcing them to take cover. Nira struggled at first, relying on Liam's experience to navigate the unpredictable terrain. But soon, she realized she could make a difference by using her knowledge of planetary physics. "Liam, the rocks over there are stable," she shouted over the roar of the storm. "We can use them to cross the ravine." Liam followed her direction, and together they leapt across gaps, avoided falling debris, and protected each other from aggressive holographic creatures. Each step required trust, quick thinking, and courage. By the time they reached the safety zone, they were soaked, exhausted, but victorious. "You were amazing," Nira said, breathing heavily. "I could not have done this without you, and you guided me when instinct alone would have failed," Liam replied. "We make a good team." As the council observers recorded their success, Nira began to understand the truth of the trials. They were not merely tests of law or skill, they were tests of connection, trust, and cooperation. The council wanted to see if a human and a Zalarian princess could function as partners, capable of facing danger and making decisions together. Later, in the quiet of the palace, Nira and Liam walked along the upper terraces. The stars were bright above, but the weight of their responsibilities lingered. "Do you ever wonder," Nira asked softly, "why the council makes everything so difficult? Why they test us this way?" Liam considered this, leaning against the railing. "Perhaps they want to see the real strength of a leader, not just in command, but in heart. And sometimes, the hardest tests reveal the most important qualities." Nira nodded, her gaze distant. "I see that now. Courage, intelligence, adaptability, and trust. Without those, nothing else matters." Liam smiled. "Then we have passed the first step, and we will pass the rest together." For the first time, Nira felt a sense of calm. The path ahead was still dangerous, with more council trials, political intrigue, and the looming deadline of a planetary alignment. But she realized that with Liam by her side, she was not alone. His human perspective, courage, and unwavering support gave her strength she had never known. That night, they sat together in the palace garden, the twin moons casting silver light across the crystalline flowers. Nira felt a strange mixture of relief and anticipation. The trials had not only tested them, but also shown her the potential of human courage and ingenuity. Liam, in turn, had seen the weight of responsibility she carried and the depth of her determination. "Liam," she said quietly, "you have changed my perspective. I thought I would have to face everything alone, but now I see there is hope." Liam reached out, touching her hand gently. "You are not alone, and I am not just here for the law. I am here because I want to help, and because I respect you for your courage, your intelligence, and your heart." For a moment, they simply sat together, watching the stars. The galaxy outside was vast and unpredictable, but within the palace walls, a human and a princess had found a partnership based on trust, courage, and the first quiet stirrings of friendship. And so, as the night deepened, the trials of law were only the beginning. The challenges ahead would be even greater, with conspiracies, dangers, and choices that could change the fate of Zalira forever. But for the first time, Nira felt that she had a chance not only to save her crown, but also to discover the strength of partnership and perhaps the beginnings of something deeper between herself and the human who had answered her desperate call.